Hey, welcome back to the Coach CARDOSO show. Very excited to be here. Today is actually the first filming ever, the first recording. No better way to start off. Two of the people who are very special, very inspiring in my life. We got Angelo Barbutas and Natalie Rick of CrossFit, Tiot, and Noah. That they're amazing people. Not only do they're my trainers, they actually help me train my mind. That's why there's no way I can start this podcast without having them first on. So welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you, Lydio. Happy to be here. Very honored to be your first guest.
Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah. So I know you guys for I don't know, about a year and a half now. But one thing I've been dying to find out, I guess, Andrew, you could tell me a little bit about your background and how did you guys meet? That's my biggest. That's really the question.
Oh, well, that story is probably best told by you, I think.
Well, at first we were just friends working out together. And I used to like to do crazy workouts and I couldn't really find anyone who wanted to do those workouts with me. And then I met him and he would want to do those workouts with me. So I was like, great, I found someone who wants to do this with me. And so from there, we started just kind of doing that and we would do competitions together. We would then sign up for Spartan races, the long one, the ultra, that's like 30 miles. And again, nobody wanted to do that with me. So I found him who wanted to do that with me. And so we started training for that together. And we just kind of, started doing crazy things together. And I like to...
CrossFit gym.
Right.
Okay.
Basically just trying to surround myself with another crazy person.
Beautiful. Okay. Have you guys always been into the crazy workouts or the intense workouts or?
Not really.
No, CrossFit, I started 7-8 years ago. Before that, just bodybuilding, regular global gym stuff. I would get bored. So I'd start up for a year, get bored, quit. Just regular jogging here and there, nothing. And then, but I was always, I don't know, something always would push me into like those kind of workouts. But CrossFit was before my time. So when I was younger, there was no CrossFit. So there's nothing, I was into martial arts when I was younger, which was fun, but then I kind of grew out of that and then played some sports, but nothing serious. And then one of my family members actually started talking to me about CrossFit, and I'm like, that sounds amazing. And one day I was at work test driving a car. I also work on cars. And I saw this CrossFit gym just by chance on the freeway. I was like, I'm just going to stop, let's just stop and see what it's about, all this hype about. So I stopped in, talked to the owner, set up a date they did at that time, they did 3 days of on-ramp training, learning all the basics and then go from there. And ever since then, I've just been in love with CrossFit. CrossFit has changed my life in so many ways. I can't even count. It's completely changed my life.
Awesome. Yeah. How about you, Natalie?
Pretty much the same thing. I never really played many sports when I grew up, just one, handball. It's a European sport. I don't know if many people know that here. But I was always kind of competitive. So when I was here, I would also go to a regular gym, do kind of my own thing, always do the same thing over and over again every week. I'm bored with it. And then I heard about CrossFit. I didn't really know what it was. And a classmate at that time told me she had a Groupon to try a local gym. So I did that too. And I had no idea how it worked. I didn't even know there were scheduled classes. I showed up. I thought it was like a regular gym and nobody was there. So I just sat in front of the door and waited for an hour until they let me in. And yeah, that was my first class. And ever since then, hooked.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. That's it. I'll tell you something about me, which I like. I grew up a kid with not too much confidence. And I kind of went along to get along with people. So what I started to realize, though, I never was into this pushing yourself out your comfort zone because I didn't know any better. But I figured now I know that's the only way to grow, to really know yourself. what do you guys think about growth and what has it done for you, or something that the audience really would love to hear?
I mean, as far as growth, I never was into any or even knew about any kind of growth until I started CrossFit. It was just like a uphill thing from there. Like I said, CrossFit has changed my life. So I was a completely different person before CrossFit. Right? I was not into any growth mindset or any kind of mindset. I just lived day by day like everyone else, trying to exercise, but slowly, there's like a rabbit hole in CrossFit. You start off first, at least for me, it was like nutrition. And then you get crazy about your nutrition. You try all these diets, paleo, whatever. And then you get into the mindset thing and growth. And so if it wasn't for CrossFit, I wouldn't be doing any of this. And then it just, like I said, it just snowballed into, to me, CrossFit, it's more the mindset to me, and like you said, confidence. I didn't really have confidence until I started CrossFit as well. I mean, and they say confidence comes from doing, right? So CrossFit made me do so many things that I never, ever thought I could do in my life. Crazy. We ran the Boston Marathon. We've done 30-mile Spartan races. I would never, ever in my life thought I could do that stuff. And then with CrossFit, all this was possible. And then you get this confidence like, man, this is possible. What else can I do, right? And you just keep pushing and pushing and learning new things. And then, and now, me and you, we talk about mindset all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, the mind is a powerful thing, and you got all these people now like Goggins and people that are just unbelievable, the things they do with just their mind. They're not into any physical freaks or anything. They're just mentally strong. And I look up to those people and like, yeah, that's how I want to be.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I really appreciate those conversations we have. I mean, I even one time told you that I would pay Dad more. If you charge me more, please don't tell him. So I guess he's going to hear it now. But it's just so great. That's the environment. I need that. It's almost like after school program, but for adults,
right? Yeah.
At 5 o'clock in the morning. So
exactly.
it's kind of safe. Daddy, what would you say about growth and the growth mindset? And have you always been a person that's into growth, or
no, not at all? So pretty much very similar. Also, I have never really thought about improving myself so much until I started at the gym. And then, like he said, really the nutrition obviously became part of it. Everything kind of just falls into place. If I want to become the best version of myself, there is more than one thing to it, and one thing kind of leads to another, and you just discover more and more ways how you can improve yourself. And then why not do that if you can be a little bit better than you were yesterday, right? And then also with coaching, that's a whole nother story. It's working on myself for myself versus coaching other people. Not only do I try to be some sort of role model for them, but also I kind of grow by teaching them. Sure. You know what I mean? And when I see my members that I teach things grow, that just kind of gives me more confidence too. So it's kind of like a really cool cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed the difference with you two is that you kind of coach the mind, as opposed to when I'm working out with you guys. You guys are coaching me how my mindset should be to get to the next level. And I appreciate that. And I think that's a huge difference. I don't know if everybody picks that up, but that's how I pick up the coaching that I get for you guys.
Thank you.
So it's really something, you guys are doing something special. I really like it. But as far other thing too, though, when you talk about growth, we always talk about physical, or that's a growth. We think about that. I like growth in all areas. So what do you guys like tie in with food, with how you deal with family? Is that all part of growth? For me, it is. So I'm assuming it's for you guys. So I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a big part of it. Like I said, with the food, for example, you have to support your goals, whatever your goals are in the gym or in life. You have to fuel for that, right? Family depends on everybody's personal situation, of course. But if you have a strong support system around you, maybe that's not even just family, maybe that's your friends or whatever that is important to your growth as well. Like, for example, you starting this podcast is, I'm sure a lot easier with all the people around you giving you that confidence.
For sure. The overwhelming love and support that I've received to start this is definitely something that I'm very grateful for. And it does push me to keep going. I talked about the morning routine. We talked about that. I'll go through my things. My thing is I jump right into the cold shower first because I don't want to talk myself out of it. So I go from the cold shower to the breath work. And then for the breath work, the meditation, like clockwork. For meditation, write 3 things in my journal that I'm grateful for. Obviously I have the water. That might be one of the things that I do, 3 assumptions. Something's going to happen great for me for the day. So I'm really primed, ready to go on the day before I even hit the gym. Any morning routine that you guys like, that's a must in your day. Besides the gym, I know you guys are here like, overnight, but...
well, every day is pretty much structured the same during the week. The one big thing is definitely not hitting the snooze button as the alarm clock goes off and you go. Because that's what happens at that time of the day.
Yeah.
And so everything is really just kind of structured. Do it the same way every morning so that by a certain time we leave the house and then we're here. Because getting up is the hardest part. Once you're here, it's fine. So I think I'm personally a very big fan of my routine just to keep me on track, keep things going. Sometimes I have to drag him with me a little bit, but that's what keeps us going. Right?
Yeah. I'm lucky. I have her as my accountability buddy. She would never let me, slack on anything, which I need that sometimes because I could easily slack. And I try to be like that for her, but she doesn't need it as much as me. It's good to have somebody to hold you accountable, and routines definitely is key. If for somebody like me, if I don't have a routine, I'll be all over the place. I won't do anything correctly. I'll just be here, there, whatever. So routine is key. Snooze button, huge. I used to be a big snooze button hitter, and then you already lost. Once you hit the snooze button, you lost. You're now the day is just, you already submitted, I'm too tired. I need 5 more minutes. Yeah. You have to get out of bed. The less thinking you have to do, the better, right? So have everything ready. Know what your plan is. If you have to think about it, chances are your mind's going to try to talk you out of it, right? And your mind is, as great as it is also your worst enemy, right? Because it knows you. Nobody knows you better than your mind, right? All the great people say that, right? Goggins says that, it has a tactical advantage over you, like you like to say, which it does, because it knows your weaknesses, it knows what you don't like, knows what you do like. So you have to be careful. If you have time to think, it's going to try to talk you out of doing the hard things. That's a constant battle every day. And I think it's for everyone, even the great people. It's a battle. You have to fight every day. So the less thinking, the better. Get your routine going. No snoozes. And like you said, get the hardest thing out of the way done first thing in the morning. For us, it's the gym. We do some brutal training sometimes, and it's done. It feels good. It's like, okay, the rest is easy. Go to work, do typical home stuff. That's a piece of cake once you do all this stuff here.
It's easy. I like to lay out my clothes that I wear the next morning, the night before. I get the water bottles ready, the coffee set, so I just have to hit the button. Everything as easy as I can when I get up. So again, like he said, don't have to think about it. Just do that. And it's easier that way. If I had to get up and think about what am I going to wear today, it's going to be a much longer process. Or even the workout. I know exactly what workouts I'm going to do when I get in here. That is something that I plan actually the week before. So just knowing things ahead of time like that makes it easier to just have a plan and just go along with it.
Yeah. I'm also big into routine. That has changed my life a lot. Definitely the routine is key. You're not swaying around trying to decide what you're going to do. I go as far as I pack my stuff the night before and I put it in my car.
Good.
The night before, I have everything there. The stuff goes in my car, so I make sure that's it. This is what we do. I get up and I say that lie to myself. I hate myself every morning because the alarm clock goes off and I this is what you do. And then you tell everybody what you do, so you have to do it.
Mhm.
So I put that extra accountability on me to go move on. But another great thing that I definitely, there's a lot of amazing things about you guys that, goes through the day after I see you guys. I mean, for example, Angelo, you always speak about, I can recite this verbatim because you told me this and it stuck in my head about visualization.
Yeah.
There was a day when I was having struggles with the snatch, which I have struggled with all the barbells, which I'm not ashamed to say now. And you said something to me and I want to hear it again.
About visualization?
Yes.
If you can't visualize it, you can't do it. It's just not possible. If you can't see the whole in anything, not even barbells, just anything in life. And this is something I've learned actually a long time ago, being younger. You have to be able to visualize it, right? That's the only way it can become real. Anything that has become in this world has come because somebody visualized it in their head, right? Some people thought it was crazy. These two guys visualized that we're going to fly in the air in these airplanes. And everyone's like, you're insane. But they visualized it and they didn't give up. I mean, obviously there's more to it than just visualization, but that's where it begins. You have to see it. You have to see it, believe it. And as I've been reading a lot of books that you've given me, you have to put emotion behind it. Yeah. And once you put the emotion behind the vision, then it just starts. And then almost nothing can stop you. And I'm starting to believe a lot that actually I've been reading too, that once you get that going, the universe is actually trying to help you to do, right, what you want to do. And I never believed that. I always thought before all this that the world always is trying to give you obstacles, which there are obstacles. But then I read another book, which is great, The Obstacle is the Way, which, the obstacles don't mean that the world is trying to stop you. It's there to help you, right? And I truly now believe that when you do have the vision and you put the emotion behind it, that everything will come together to help you if you persist, right? It's consistency. Yeah. So, yeah.
You get to be so excited. I could just stand up. I got to stand up and do this interview. I can't sit down and do it. And that's why I come here. That's why I come here daily. That's awesome. I drive over 20 minutes to get here in the morning, and I'm very happy to come here. You have anything to add to that, Natalie?
I think he said it all.
He said it all?
That was very good.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Okay. So I know you guys obviously you guys are my coaches, bite coaches, call it what you want, strength coaches, all the above, right? So I look at you guys like Superman and Superwoman, right? So I guess a lot of times we don't know each other, right? From going back to the days, and I see you guys, I see you with 100% confidence and so on, So, I mean, for me, when I tell people now, I had no confidence growing up. I was a kid who just, up until adults, I had no confidence, I'm like, who are you? I didn't know myself. I didn't try to, because I never pushed myself outside my comfort zone. So I was comparing myself to somebody who I felt did better. So that kind of hurt me through my life a lot. I would never have the courage to start something like this. Yeah. Just not even a clue. I would talk my way out of it. So, Daddy, I look at you as Superwoman. So, we want to hear something like what transitioned you, like what happened, like your childhood that transitioned you to be who you are, or have you always been a super athlete and so forth? I know you work hard, but I don't know if you worked hard at the age of 12 doing the workouts. So, was there a point in your life that kind of like
I think, once I started CrossFit, was pretty much the turning point. When I was a kid, I was chubby, and I was always the one picked last in gym class, believe it or not. Okay. So, sometimes I've gotten these very nice compliments from members where they ask me if I was a gymnast, and I'm not at all. And nothing close. Anything that I can do gymnastically is because I learned it. I taught myself, which is obviously needs a lot of work, but I'm very proud of. Yeah. Because I don't have any background. So any confidence really you can say comes from CrossFit, just trying new things, pushing myself in that way. Because of that confidence that I've gained through that, then, I don't really care anymore what people think about me. So then my pie business, I just kind of started that, not really with any plan where this would go. Now it's been, this is the 3rd year now. And it's just getting better and better. More and more people start to know about my pies, even though it's just a little thing on the side, but I enjoy it. And even that gives me confidence too. Sometimes I look back and I realize that I kind of started my own business out of nowhere, and it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not the business, and it keeps going. Good. Let's talk about your pie. I mean, I've had it. I loved it. I ordered stuff from it. I know it started to be known in the CrossFit community in New England. That I know, Powered by Pie.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Powered by Pie. No doubt. Well, if we don't know Powered by Pie, you're going to know it now because, so we're right here. So tell me about your pie company.
Well, it's just, I started
how we thought about it.
Yeah.
We went to Maine.
Okay.
We went to Maine on vacation, and Maine has definitely one of their greatest pies. And I'm a big pie fan. So when I go somewhere, I look for pies. And in Maine, things are different in Maine. You drive down the road, and there was a sign on the side of the road from someone's house that said pie. So, and then we would drive down the driveway, and then there was another sign that says honk if you want pie. And they're like, okay. So we would honk, and a person comes out, I was like, which kind of pie would you like? So they would just make it in their house. And we bought 2 pies that day. We finished 2 pies that day. So then I kind of thought I want to bring that idea home, because I don't know anywhere around here where you can find good pie, homemade pie, also just like with love. It tastes different, you know that. So I was like, I'm just going to make it myself. But the idea of having it work like it does up in Maine is not really the same here. People don't do that. I put a sign in front of my house, but nobody, like in 3 years, maybe 2 people ever rang the doorbell. And I'm actually glad they don't do that now. But no. Yeah, so now it's more word of mouth and my Instagram page. And just, I do a lot of CrossFit competitions or other events where I sell my pies. And in this type of community, a lot of people have now, I guess, tried my pies by now. Yeah.
Nice.
And CrossFit, it's a very supportive community.
Yes,
so
for sure.
We wouldn't have nearly as much people knowing us if it wasn't for CrossFit, because they just open arms, everywhere we go, competitions, come on, we need you, where we would ask anywhere else, where's your licenses? Where's this? Where's that? In CrossFit, everybody's just, I can't even describe the amount of support that we got from the CrossFit community. And that to me is what CrossFit is about, right? Mm-hmm. It's just the people, the community, beyond all that other working out stuff. And, the amazing athletes that are, in it. But besides that, what truly is CrossFit is all the small boxes, and that's where everything happens. That's where all the magic happens. The growth is there, all the little boxes in CrossFit, not the CrossFit games. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. Those guys are amazing, but that's not what CrossFit is to me. That's not what inspired me when I first started CrossFit. What got me about CrossFit was like, anybody can do it, and it gives a chance for every single person, no matter their age, no matter their physical ability, to partake in something so cool, and just do things that you never thought were possible. And that's where, makes it easier to grow that way when you get that confidence. And CrossFit does that. It's helped so many people in so many ways. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. You did mention, how long have you been at CrossFit?
Both of us around 8 years now.
8 years, roughly.
I love the journey, getting better every day, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's they say it's like a cult. It is addicting because
I know.
Everyone knows that's in CrossFit. Just like anything that makes you better is addicting, right? You love that. You do your cold showers. I haven't been brave enough to try those yet, but I have done cold plunges. Yeah. And I'm not a big fan of cold water. Yeah. I don't like them, but I did the plunges a couple times, and now it's strangely addicting. I want to do it more and more. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? But yeah, it's that's what happens when you start bettering yourself. You want to do it more and more and more. It's addicting.
Yeah.
So,
It could be what's right for you, what you think of what's right,
Yeah.
You learn. I mean, you're probably a person like how I feel now. If I'm not outside of my comfort zone, then there's a problem. I just always have to find some way to be. I mean, I don't go intentionally hurt myself, but I always want a bigger challenge. I always want something that's the reason I'm doing this. One of the biggest reasons that I'm ashamed to take pictures. I mean, like, I don't want to take pictures because I'm so self-conscious, or I was, about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, even with CrossFit, when I used to do HIIT workouts and I see people do CrossFit, I get intimidated. I'm like, oh my God, like, whatever. Then I just went in. I said, you know what? I'm going to try this for 30 days, make a commitment. That's when I was on my growth journey. And here I am. I'm still here, So I really understand how that goes. But right now,
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
no.
No, I was just gonna say, you're right. I mean, nothing good happens in comfort, right? I was always a person that enjoyed comfort. I mean, everybody does, right? But I never wanted to push myself to be uncomfortable. I never thought about it, and but nothing worthwhile happens in comfort. And when I finally realized that, and really, I started pushing myself out of my comfort zone when I started CrossFit, and then when I met Natalie, because she wanted to do all these crazy things, and I just wanted to be close to her, so that's why I did all these crazy, uncomfortable things, not even knowing what I'm signing up for. Hey, you want to do a Spartan race with me? Sure. I sign up. Next thing I know, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a 30-mile race.
I know.
What did I just sign up for, right? So that was very uncomfortable. But then I started liking it, and I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. It was by chance that I did these things, and I liked it and became addicting, and I just want to do it more and more. And now I'm just thinking, what else can I do? I'm like you. I want to do everything that's super uncomfortable. I want to be uncomfortable all the time.
I will get you to go skydiving. I will get you to go skydiving.
Yeah, she wants me to go skydiving. I haven't had the courage for that yet.
Wait, it might be the three of us.
Oh yeah, you coming?
See,
now we got a team.
Yeah.
I've already talked to other people that are in.
I mean, you guys are
Tiot outing.
What's that?
It's a Tiot outing.
Tiot outing. I think it'll be just the three of us because I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I already know a few crazy souls that are in.
That's it. Okay. All right. No, it's definitely. I grew up just. I mean, to beat this comfort thing to death because it just changed my life a lot. I grew up like the kind of guy. Mama's boy, if I, cut my fingers, here's a little Band-Aid, you got to be comfortable. You kidding me? The heat, so you got to have heat. You can never be uncomfortable because that's not the way to go. I could even I talked about real estate. I'm in real estate, and one time I started buying a lot of properties, and the thing it went bad. And I'm thinking it's the worst thing in the world. But that propelled me to the next level to take other business risks because you're supposed to be okay to fail. That's how it's like the push-up. You do 20, you fail at 21, but you keep doing it, you're going to hit the 21. But would you agree? I mean, that's
of course. I definitely agree. And the failure thing, like we've been kind of brainwashed of thinking we shouldn't fail, right? And I feel like it's everybody's so ashamed or scared to fail, and that's the way we've been programmed to. I feel like, but we shouldn't think about it that way. It's not failure. Failure is only when you stop and quit. That's failure. Right? But if you keep going, it's like what Goggins says is, no, I'm just practicing 300 times to finally do it one time, right? He's not failing. He's practicing, right? And that's how we should think about it. If you're scared to fail, you're not going to do anything, right? It's just, that's not the way it is. You have to fail. I don't like to use that word. It's just not failing. Right? You just have to keep trying until you get it. And eventually you will, right?
One thing I did realize in life also, like I've said it a bit of times, I was, the kid that went along to get along, right? But once you start to find yourself and you start to push yourself out your comfort zone, that's worked for me. It's like, then you start to track the tribes of people who think like you.
Sure.
So then you're not the oddball anymore. All of a sudden, I'm like, Lydio, there was really nothing wrong with you. Right? All right. Well, I like to address myself as Coach Cardoso now, but Coach Cardoso, there's really nothing wrong with you. It's just that you would not be your authentic self. So with the crowd you was running with, you seem weird,
Very important.
but you're really not. And that's a big blessing in coming out of your shell and actually get out your comfort zone.
Mhm.
I feel,
And you should surround yourself with people, like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's one way to, you want people to be around people that are better than you.
Yeah.
Because you want to, push.
Yeah.
If you just surround yourself around people that are okay with being mediocre, then you're going to be okay with being mediocre, right? That's what that seems to be the case. So definitely need to be around like-minded people. And actually, me and Matt have been talking for a long time about trying to find a place that's just for people like us, like-minded people. I can't say too much because there's big things in the works.
I got you.
But we would love to just be around people that are, have the same mindset, and help us grow. I love helping people grow. I try to do as much as possible. I get more satisfaction actually when I help somebody grow. We get PRs in the gym all the time, but honestly, I've never had as much satisfaction as seeing somebody else that I helped get a PR. It's way more satisfying than my own PRs. I get a PR, I'm like, okay, great. Yeah. I see somebody else that I helped push, mentally to break through that barrier, and I get that. And it's really the best feeling. Yeah. Better than your own satisfaction. Yeah.
It's like Denzel Washington says. He says that the most selfish thing you can do is help out another person. Yeah. As the gratitude and joy that'll bring you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. And I definitely would love to interview you guys again. It can be like 100 episodes of just you guys. Really appreciate it. And thanks for coming out. And if you have any last words you want to tell your audience, about growth, what does growth mean to you, Natalie? Let me ask a question. Wait.
That's a very broad question.
Yeah. Elevator pitch. Go for it.
Okay. So something that I say to Angelo sometimes when he's in a bad mood, and I'd like for everybody to hear that, and I'd like everybody to think about that. Be a fountain, not a drain. So not necessarily too much to do with growth, I guess, in a way, but on your daily basis, try to be a fountain, if you know what I mean by that. If you are the person that nobody wants to be around because you drag everybody down, that's just going to make things worse. And someone else is in a bad mood, then they're just going to spread it. But the same thing happens the other way around, right? If you're in a good mood and you can take that and give it to someone else, and then someone else is in a good mood, and then it just spreads like that.
Okay. Awesome. Angelo, what does growth mean to you?
What does growth mean to me? That is a very broad question. It means so much. I could talk about this forever. Try to shorten it, make it short and sweet. It's basically everything that we talked about, to grow, you need to step out of your comfort zone. Can't be comfortable, right? Number one, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable, and in a world where comfort is everywhere and it's easy to be comfortable and everybody wants to be comfortable, everybody wants the easy pill, what's the hack or what's the pill? Nobody wants to put in the work. So you must be willing to put in the work and be uncomfortable. You need to do the work, and everybody's probably thinking like, who are you to tell me that I need to do this, and I don't have any great accomplishments like David Goggins or anybody like that to say, but I'm just like everyone else, and I strive and I struggle just like everyone else. So I'm hoping people can hear this and see, this guy's just like me, he's just a normal guy, and he's doing his best to be better every day, and I have, my faults. I'm not perfect every day, but I always strive to, whenever I can, to push myself, every time I think I can't do something, I'll try to do it anyways, especially when I think I can't do something. I will try it out of fear or whatever it is. If it's something that my brain's saying don't do it, I will go out of my way to do it.
Yeah.
And it never gets easy, right? Like some people say it gets easier, but for me, it never gets easy to be uncomfortable. Every day is a struggle to be uncomfortable. It never gets easier for me anyways.
Get used to it. You just get used to it.
Yeah, you just kind of get used to, like we say in the 5 a.m. club, right? This is what we do, right? And you just can't give your mind any way out. You know, you can't let yourself have a scapegoat. You can't, nothing, just no way out, you know, no escape. You can't, if your mind knows even a little bit of backdoor escape, it will go there, you know, so you can't give it an escape route. No escapes, right? So be uncomfortable, be prepared to do the work. Consistency is huge, you know. Everybody gets motivated, right? Like we've learned, motivation lasts a day, maybe a couple of days, a week, maybe even a month. Some people even have motivation for 6 months, but it always ends, right? So without discipline, motivation is nothing. Motivation just goes away, you know. So like you have to stay disciplined, consistent.
You have to think about what you're willing to sacrifice. Everything comes at a price. You can just think about what you want now versus what you really want. And there's always a trade-off no matter what you choose. If you go for the fries now, it might mean you're sick later. Do you want that? Do you want that immediate gratification, or can you delay gratification for the bigger price that comes if you're looking at your goal and know what you need to do to get there, whatever that may be? But it's basically a delay of gratification, satisfaction, all of those things. Trading in sacrifices.
Yeah, you have to pay the man, as they say, if you want something. You're not going to get it for free. Nothing's just going to come to you in this life. Nothing worthwhile. That's just the way it is. So if you're not willing to pay the price, you're not going to get it. And if you don't pay the price, you won't get it. So, you know, people say, you know, I tried and didn't get it. No, if you really want something and you really will pay the price, if you're really willing to do it, you will get it. But you have to pay the price, and it's not easy. Not easy.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Well, thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Natalie, and definitely want to thank my audience. You know, this is what we do. We grow. See you next time.